Hi, everybody. It's good to see you again. It is Mrs. Locke and Matthew.
Yeah.
And we are here to read a story to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who are you married?
I am married to Pastor Tim.
AKA Mr. Locke.
Mr. Locke. Yes, that's right. Which would make you Pastor Locke's son.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, Matthew, today we are reading story 102 from the Gospel Story Bible by Marty Machowski. This book right here. Today's story is called The Transfiguration, and it's on page 205, and it's found in Matthew 17.
That's me.
And Mark 9 and Luke 9. Now, the books of Matthew, Mark, and Luke are found.
That's me.
Yes, those books are found in the New Testament. So, let's look at the picture for today's story. Check this out. Wow. That's a really colorful, amazing picture. Let's read the story to find out what happened. The Transfiguration. When Jesus told the disciples that he must suffer and die, and then he would be raised from the dead, the disciples did not understand what Jesus was talking about. Jesus also told them, "Some of you who are standing here will not die before you see the kingdom of God as it comes with power." The disciples didn't understand that either, but about a week later, Jesus took Peter, James, and John up on a high mountain and gave them a taste of the power and the glory of the kingdom that was coming. There on the mountain, Jesus was suddenly transformed from a normal-looking man, revealing the brightness of his glory. I think we should show them the picture again so they can see that.
Go ahead.
Okay. Check it out. See? He went from a normal look to showing all of his power and glory. That's amazing.
Like I have right now.
Yeah. His face shone like the sun, and his clothes were as dazzling white as light. All of a sudden, Elijah and Moses appeared out of nowhere and began to talk with Jesus. Peter, James, and John were terrified. I'd be scared too if that happened, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
No one had ever seen anything like this before. Then a cloud drifted down and surrounded them. They heard a voice from inside the cloud saying, "This is my beloved Son. Listen to him." When the disciples heard God's voice, because that is who it was, they fell down with their faces on the ground to worship God. Then Jesus came over to them, touched them, and told them to get up. When they did, no one was there but Jesus. On their way down the mountain, Jesus told them, "Don't tell anyone what you have seen until I have risen from the dead." The 3 disciples kept it to themselves, but they still wondered what Jesus meant by being raised from the dead. They asked Jesus why the religious leaders taught that Elijah had to come first before the Messiah. Jesus answered, "Elijah does come first to make things ready. And Elijah has already come, and he has suffered just as the Son of Man," one of the name Jesus called himself, "is going to suffer." This is when they realized that John the Baptist was the Elijah that Jesus was talking about. Can you imagine what it must have been like to see Jesus, radiant in glory, shining like the sun in dazzling white? For just a few moments, the 3 disciples had that chance. Yes, they got a glimpse of the holiness, glory, and power of Jesus as God, something no one had seen outside heaven. No wonder they were terrified. They knew Jesus, the man who did and said extraordinary things, but nothing could really prepare them to see Jesus, the Son of God, shining with heavenly glory. And see the transfiguration the disciples saw. It was only a tiny hint of the power that Jesus would show in his resurrection. That is when his words about the kingdom of God coming in power would come true. Yeah, his power. already, right? How amazing. So let's look at the picture again and we'll talk about it. Okay? So, who is with Jesus on the mountain? And what do you think it was like to watch Jesus transfigured? And what does this tell us about Jesus? All good questions, right? Yeah. So tune into our next video to learn more about God's big story. And if you're following along at home in your Old Story, New Devotional, we're on week 24. And on Monday, you can start on day 1. Wasn't that a great story about the transfiguration?
That's right.
It was a great story. Thanks for listening to our story. And we'll see you next time. Okay? Want to tell them bye? Bye.